Hi everyone, with October approaching, I've played Little Nightmare. It's a spooky game. Well, spooky, it is spooky. It's a horror game, but it's spooky. You know Limbo and Inside, these kind of games? It's reminiscent of this, but it's not made by the same team. Little Nightmare. I have played the first one. There's two of them that came out. I've played the first one recently because Halloween is in a month and I want to play some horror games. And I rather liked it. It's quite a short game. I think I finished it in like 3 hours or so. I didn't find all the secrets, or did I search for them, really? I didn't play the DLC either. I just completed the main campaign, the main story. And I have a few thoughts over the game, should we say. First of all, I mentioned Limbo and Inside, but there's a reason for it, because these two games are stuck on a 2D plane. But this one, it's more three-dimensional. You can move about on a 3D space. There's still a linearity to it. You go from the left to the right most of the time, sometimes from the right to the left on multiple floors. But it's very reminiscent of these kind of games, kind of puzzly games. Though it was kind of light on puzzle elements, it was quite horrific. There were a lot of gruesome and disturbing elements in the game. And in this particular game, there's a lot of stealth. You don't fight back, because everything is so big around you. The monsters chasing you wanted to eat all 4 of your limbs. They're not going to give you a chance to fight back. Too much, at least. You're going to run away and hide under tables and hide under chairs, and it's quite tense. You are defenseless. You are a child in a world of grotesque giants. The gameplay captures super well this. You're defenseless. It's a hopeless situation. The gameplay that you cannot fight back marries really well with the horror that is permeating through every single element of the game. That is the graphics, the gameplay, the sound design. It all creates quite a horrific package whose title is quite on the nose, as you might discover at the end of the game, actually. Oh, by the way, I have a new assistant. Here is my assistant. Hi, I won this at a fair. I threw some balls and knocked some steel cans off with my super strength, and I won this big octopus. And it has a unicorn horn, so it's the octocorn. The octocorn is my new assistant. Say hello, Octocorn. Hello, it's me, Octocorn. It's good to meet you. Yes, nothing like talking about a horror game with blood and entrails than having a giant blue unicorn octopus in my arms, isn't it? But talking about the atmosphere and the ambience of the game, it's very oppressive throughout the game. Like, it all takes place on some sort of ship. I thought I might discover another environment, but it mostly takes place on a ship. There's little variety except what you would find in a ship, but it is strange. It is not a regular ship. I wonder if it is all real or in my head, or if it is just a sort of personal hell that I'm going through. But there is this ambience, the sound design that is constantly, you can hear noises, this music that makes you feel uneasy, like that evoke a feeling of fear. It's all going through like ventilations and dilapidated places, kind of like grotesque environment that is something that you would maybe find in real life, but that is not like in real life. It's all kind of like warped and uncanny, just like the inhabitants of this ship that are what you would think are human, but truthfully are monsters in disguise. This is quite uncanny, and no one is as cute as my little octocorn here. I'm the cutest! Yes, you are Octocon, you are the cutest. But that's when you kind of like wonder about what the game is about. You are a child. You have the mind of a child in the game. If everything is warped and not right, but it resembles something that a child may know, is it a dream or is it real? It seems real, but at the same time it feels like a nightmare, like the title of the game. But at the same time, this could all be in the kid's head. This could be the child having a nightmare, taking elements from the child's life and creating this environment that is very familiar, but very grotesque and warped into a scary jumble of horror. And maybe the different monsters and environments we encounter in the game are particular people and places that the child is afraid of or has very bad memories of. Like the scary blind door maker, or the multiple cooks with their very sharp knives, or the flood of horrifically ferocious and obese guests that chow down food like pigs, even going to chase the child to hit him, to the mistress who it obviously is the head of this whole operation and who might actually have a deeper link with the protagonist of the game than you might first imagine through a few clues that I maybe figured out in the game. Because the greatest fear of them all, the one we reach at the end, is this mistress, who might very well be the mother of the protagonist, of the child that we're controlling through this nightmare. There's a few clues for that you kind of see through the game, I think, but notably in the bedroom of this mistress of the dark. There's a painting in the corner, a bit hidden behind a curtain, I remember. A child in a yellow raincoat, with the eyes barred. It's us. Why would there be a portrait of us in the mistress's bedroom? We're related. But she doesn't seem to care too much about us. The only times she chases us is a ghost of her, and not really her, but a nightmare, a kind of like terrifying version of this person who doesn't look as grotesque as any of the other inhabitants of this nightmarish ship. Maybe because not made grotesque by the fact that she's our parents, and we might have maybe a bigger fear of her that we don't dare warp her image, but we create a shadow of her that is a mortal danger, really. I think through the game, I mean, if she's the big bad, it kind of shows that her and the child, whose name is Six, I think, do not have a good relationship. There's a sort of maybe neglect going on. A bit of a toxic mother-child relationship going on. And I don't know, and when you point the mirror at her towards the end, and at the shadow, and it breaks the shadow, and the mom is on the floor, maybe that's because she got a reflection of herself and who she's been all this time. All the mirrors in this section of the ship in the house are broken. But not this last mirror that we make her peer into, which kind of indicates that maybe looking back at herself had quite the effect on her. Okay, but there's something else that I noticed through the game, is that regularly towards the beginning of levels or end, there's our protagonist that starts being very hungry, mortally hungry actually. Like if we don't eat soon, well, we end up dying, really. It starts pretty fine. I mean, like First, there's a child that gives us some of his food, but it gradually gets a bit more disturbing, where we actually eat a rat who is still alive. That was pretty disturbing. But then there's one of these little cone-headed characters that just want to help us, and who is handing us a sausage. And instead of grabbing the sausage, we grab this tiny character who is very friendly, and we just bite his neck off, which is not pleasant for the creature that we just killed. you know, I think. But then towards the end, once you defeat the mistress in some sort of final boss encounter, well, you get hungry and then you go to her and you just go, well, there's an exposed neck, I guess, going to, you know, eat that person now. That's interesting, actually. Because at that point, when my character started eating this woman, I kind of felt bad for the woman, even though her shadow tried to kill us multiple times. And once that happens, there's a very scary part to me. Our player character is kind of like being infused with shadows that the mother used to have, that the mistress used to have, and turns towards the screen. You can't see any face behind the yellow hood, but it gave me a fright because my character became the little nightmare. Once we gain this power, we walk towards the exit in a very cold-blooded fashion. We suck the life out of every creature that tries to eat us now, to do us harm. The player character 6 does not care anymore and just snap necks after necks after necks, and everything dies in the way. There's maybe something to be said here that after so much trauma that the child went through, the child is kind of like broken emotionally. There's trauma, right? The innocence is lost. And once the child was in a position of power, well, the power was used just like the creature used it on the child. But this time the cards were reversed and they were the one that suffered their doom in the end. But thankfully, my little octagon would never reach me. Look at how cute it is. Look at how cute it is. But when you do reach the end of the game and you climb these stairs that lead to a golden light, past the credit sequence, you realize that this ship was leading to a little island with a little lighthouse. Pre-barren, the sea is all around this island with no other thing beyond the horizon, just water and loneliness and isolation. Which kind of makes me think it is not really it is a nightmare, because why would stays inside a ship lead to an island? I don't know. But here's the thing, you can click your button that says back, not go to main menu or the end. No, it's back. Go back to the nightmare. You cannot escape it. You thought being here and exiting this ship would lead you to salvation and to a new path, a new way forward for you. But turns out that no, you're stuck here. And if you don't want to be stuck on this island, you have to go back to the nightmare and do it all over again. Or maybe there's something in Little Nightmare 2 that's going to happen, and maybe another ship is going to crash into this island and we're going to go on board and go to like a magical rainbow land. That I doubt it, really. And maybe there's something to be said here as well, in that, yes, our protagonist uses this dark power to free, you know, themselves. The protagonist, the child, is still stuck on an island. So all this destruction and all the darkness that grew inside this kid, that just led nowhere. There was no redemption, just a never-ending loop of misery and terror and madness. At least that's how I see the whole ending part. Sound design in horror game is quite wonderful. It's really in-depth, because horror often comes from what you don't know, what you can't see. The unknown is what's most scary to us human. That's why we're afraid of the dark. We can't see what's beyond the darkness or the depth of the ocean, but we can hear and we can imagine what the sounds are. All these little sounds that give you clues as to what's going on, or that might just mislead you into getting scared and making mistakes. And I thought that the sound design in this game was really good. It worked really well. The chases were intense. The stealth sections were very ominous. The fact that when you're close to a monster, your heart beats and you're feeling it in your controller, the vibrations, your own pulse. And you know what's most funny? The most terrifying part of the game for me was when the sound stopped. There's 2 occasions of this on the last level. When you pick up the key in the mistress's bedroom, as she's singing, when you pick it up, the singing stops. And she's gone. Nowhere to be seen. And at the very end, before the final boss, when you pick up the mirror, before that there were a lot of scary ambient noises. When you pick it up, every single noise but your footsteps stop. And in a game where all the noises were making you uncomfortable, the greatest terror really was when it stopped. Okay, so that was my experience with Little Nightmare, right? What I thought about it, what I took out of it. I tried to like see inside the symbolism a little bit. I'm sure someone in this audience here that where you're sitting is enjoying, appreciating that I do this. And thank you for watching. I had a lot of fun playing this game, and it was scary. It's been a while since I played a horror game, and with Halloween coming close, I'll do more of that probably. So what did you think about Little Nightmare? Did you play it? Did you enjoy it? Is there any maybe deeper themes that you figured out that I didn't come close to unraveling? And you tell me in the comments below, okay? And of course, don't forget to give me a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed listening to me talking about the game. And say goodbye to my assistant who's right here that I love very much. Oh, my big octocone. Alright, cheers.